Hey everybody, this is Mr. Beckstrom, and I had a question from 7.5. This is number 13, and it says find the exact value of each of the following under the given conditions below. And I'm going to talk about this one. I'm not going to go ahead and complete each one to the fullest. I'm going to let you guys do that, but I will give you some good information and get you started on these. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. So it gives us the sine of alpha is 12 over 13, and it says alpha is between negative pi and negative pi over negative 3 pi over 2. That's kind of a weird way to put it, but that's going to tell us that it's in quadrant 2, and I'm going to see how to figure that out. And then here it tells us that the tangent of beta is negative 1 over the square root of 3, and it tells us that beta is between pi over 2 and pi, and that's also in the second quadrant, and that's a little bit easier to tell. So let's go ahead and first kind of graph what we know. So this first one here, alpha, so it's 12 over 13. Now, where is negative pi? Well, if we start here at 0 and we go negative, negative pi would be right here. So negative 3 pi over 2 would be right there. So that tells me it's in the second quadrant here. So if I make my triangle here like this, here is my angle coming from the central angle there. And sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that's 12. This is 13. This is one of our special triangles. So that's going to be 169 minus 144, which is 25. The square root of that is 5. So there's my triangle. And notice that for my formulas over here, not only do I need to know the sine of A, I'm also going to need to know the cosine of A. So the cosine of A is going to be the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and it's also going to be negative here because I'm in the second quadrant. So I'm going to go ahead and write somewhere over here, maybe up here, that the cosine of, and I'll go ahead and use their terminology, alpha is equal to the negative 5 over 13. That I'll use in the formulas over there. All right. And look here, I'm going to need to know the tangent of A as well. Tangent will be negative over here, and that's going to be opposite over adjacent, so that will be negative 12 over 5. So the tangent of alpha is equal to negative 12 over 5, opposite over adjacent. All right, and that's pretty much it for the alpha angle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the beta angle and see what we're going to need from it. So the beta angle is between pi, which is pi over 2, which is straight up, and pi, which is over here. So we're also in the second quadrant. So I'm going to go ahead and make my triangle here. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that's 1 over the square root of 3. And so in order to find this remaining side, 1 squared plus the square root of 3 squared, that's going to be 1 plus 3 is 4. Square root of that is 2. So this is the 1, 2 square root of 3 special triangle. So that should be able to give us the other information that we need as well. So we're also going to need the sine and cosine of beta. So let's start with the cosine of beta. So the cosine of beta, which we're in the second quadrant, so that will be negative, is going to be negative, and that is adjacent over hypotenuse, so square root of 3 over 2, square root of 3 all over 2. And we also need the sine of beta, which the sine is going to be positive here, and that's opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent, so that will be 1 over 2, 1/2. And so this is everything that we're going to need for our formulas here. And notice I copied all the formulas from here. So now all this is just plugging these 6 values into the formulas here and then simplifying them. So let's go ahead and do one of them. Let's do the tangent here because that's kind of the hardest one here. So the tangent of a plus b, so of alpha plus beta, alpha plus beta. So that's going to be equal to the tangent of alpha, which we know is negative 12 over 5, plus the tangent of beta, which is, it's a negative, so we'll just do minus 1 over the square root of 3, all over 1 minus the product of those two. So the first one is 1 minus the tangent of alpha, which is, once again, negative 12 over 5 times the tangent of beta, which is negative 1 over root 3. 1 over root 3. All right. So let me give us a little bit more room here. So at this point, we just have to kind of simplify this, bring those fractions together. So on the top here, I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by the square root of 3. So this is going to be negative 12 root 3 over 5 root 3, 5 root 3, minus, I'm getting a common denominator, 5 all over 5 root 3, all over, and this is minus, 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 so 2 of these minuses cancel up, then you have another minus. So this is going to be, I'm going to turn that 1 into a 5 root 3 over a 5 root 3, because that's equal to 1, and I want a common denominator. This is going to be minus, going across the top, 12 times 1 is 12, all over a 5 root 3, because 5 times root 3. All right, so the top here combines, so you're going to have a negative 12 root 3 minus 5 all over 5 root 3 all over, and on the bottom we're going to have a 5 root 3 minus 12 all over a 5 root 3. And we can keep on going with this. These are fun. I know they are. So I'm going to do the negative 12 root 3, the top multiplied by the reciprocal of the bottom, over 5 root 3 times 5 root 3 all over 5 root 3 minus 12. And I'm going to get negative 12 root 3 minus 5 all over 5 root 3 minus 12. And my math lab should take this right here. Sometimes they ask you to rationalize the denominator. If they do want you to rationalize the denominator, what you do is you multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. So you would multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate, which would be 5 root 3 plus 12. And so that would be 5 root 3 plus 12. This would get rid of the root from the bottom, so you have to FOIL the top and the bottom. Let's go ahead and do that just so we see what that looks like. It's going to be messy, but we have time. It's just a video, right? So the bottom, you do 5 root 3 times 5 root 3. So that's going to be 25 times 3, which is 75. So that's going to be 75. And then minus 144, minus 144. And the middle, outer and the middle terms will cancel there. And then on the top here, we're going to have 5 times 12 is 60. 60 times 3 is 180. So I'm going to have negative 180. Let me just double check my math here. Negative 60 times 3. Okay. And then the middle terms, that's negative 25 root 3 minus 25 root 3. This is going to be a long one. The outer terms is negative 144 root 3 minus 144 root 3. Then the last terms will be minus 60. Minus 60. And lastly, let's clean this up here. So this will be negative 240 minus, that should be 169, 169 root 3, all over 75 minus 144. Doing it on my calculator. Minus 144, negative 69, negative 69. And if you want, you could divide everything by negative 1 and turn everything positive. And that's it. All right. I hope this helped. If you have any trouble with the other remaining ones, let me know. But the other ones are pretty easy compared to this one. All right. Hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks.